have the next session starting immediately, and I would like to invite our session chair for the panel 4, which is scaling up MSME startups and corporates. Mr. Chand Das, business and leadership coach at CSD Associates, an eminent coach, mentor for startups, and an angel investor. He has served as CEO of ITC in the education and stationery vertical, having more than 35 years of experience in building and running scaled B2B and B2C businesses in India. And he has been actively involved in networking activities with alumni from IIT and IIMs. So I would not, without any further ado, I would request Mr. Chand Das to take stage, and he hasn't joined, is it? Okay, I think Dr. Alok Mishra is here, Dr. Abhijit Sathe is here. So he's, okay, so we'll just wait for a minute for Dr. Chand Das to join. He's in the process of joining. So all the participants, please, are requested to wait for a couple of minutes as we, yeah, so he's on the screen. Mr. Chand, if you can unmute yourself. Because of overshooting time in the last session, we could not actually remove this. We could not hold a break session of about 5 minutes. So we are starting this straight away, this panel 4 on MSME, startups and corporates. How we scale up this, Avoc India Foundation's India Financial Literacy Conclave is something which all our patrons and all our associates and members, they look forward to it with the objective that there will be a lot of takeaways, and which is where we try and make our best efforts to see that how the best of deliberations happen from the best of panel speakers from all over, and how we can come out with some actionable which we can work upon in the coming year and also make a difference to the society. And as you all know, this year's conclave has the theme of making inclusive prosperity happen. समावेशी समृद्धि को साकार कैसे करें? So how we make it more inclusive? That is what is the theme for this year. And within that theme, we have already discussed youth empowerment through quality education and skill development. We have also discussed about agriculture reforms and scaling up growth. Today, we just finished a session on women empowerment and economic prosperity, an excellent session hosted by Ms. Gayatri Srivastava from Mumbai. And now we are I am welcoming you all to this another very, very enriching and important and relevant stakeholders session, which is on startups, MSMEs and corporates. I would again welcome Mr. Chand Das, and would want to again do a small brief introduction of him. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Mr. Chand Das, as I just said, that of course he's with 35 years of experience in building and running B2B and B2C businesses in India. He's a former CEO for ITC for education and stationery products, and currently a business and leadership coach at CSD Associates, an eminent coach, mentor, and angel investor for startups. So he has been actually involved in a lot of networking and helping the IITs and IIMs. So a wonderful work being done. So there's so much to get and gain in this session. I now hand over the session to Mr. Chand Das to take it forward and introduce the speakers and take it forward. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Praveen, for those generous words. What I would like you to do before we get started is to actually put up two polls. The first poll is to figure out what is the composition of our audience. You know, how many entrepreneurs, MSME people, government, students, and so on. So that would be very helpful because, you know, I
Right.
always believe, yes. So that's the first question. I would request all participants to put and participate in this poll question. It helps us to know where you're coming from.
Yeah, so we are waiting for a minute. I think MSMEs are also joining now. I can see that about responses now gaining momentum. So we can wait for about half a minute or so more to get all the
Yes.
responses. Yeah.
Okay. And just following the first poll, I would also recommend that we put a second poll because this is a session to do with scaling up of startups, MSMEs, and corporates for making inclusive prosperity happen. So the second poll will be to figure out what is it that startups, MSMEs, and corporates find difficult in their journey of scaling up. Is it, for example, access to finance? Is it people? Is it policies? You know, and so on.
So
You
what
could
I'm doing is, sorry, what I'm doing is I'm ending the first poll and you all can take a glimpse of
results.
the results. We're just sharing the results to you.
Oh, that's wonderful. So it's well, so the students seem to be the dominant majority here, but there is fair representation from all the sectors that we ought to be addressing on this panel. So great. Thank you very much
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah.
Would
So
you
I'm
like
now,
to put up the second poll
yes, yes,
now?
second. Right, right.
So while we are putting up the second poll, I just wanted to, in the interest of managing the time, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the session. But yes, the poll has come up now. So the question is, what is the biggest challenge you face in scaling up your business, right? And there are several options given here on your screen. So please tick the option that is bothering you the most. And hopefully during the panel, we will try and address it to the extent practicable. Okay, so while you're answering this question, I just want to start by saying that yesterday when the uh, conference was inaugurated, it was said by the former Chief Secretary of UP that every year there are 14 million employable youth entering the workforce. And it's a very big challenge to provide employment and jobs. So the question that comes to mind is that in the scaling up of startups, MSMEs, and corporates, we should look at creating jobs as well and not just depend on the government or somebody else to give you a job. So, what I'm trying to say is that we should be job creators and not just job seekers. And I think that is a very good perspective with which we can enter into this panel. I also want to say, so have we got the answers? Praveen, are we good to go?
Yeah, I think we have got about 50% people who have voted. So I will just
That's fine.
end the.
That's fine.
So we can end the polling and the results are there.
Wow, this is brilliant. So, you know, finance is heading the list, and not surprising, investors is also related to finance. Incubation to some extent is also related to finance. So if I were to add finance from institutions, investors, and incubators, we are talking of more than 50%. And hence, automatically this becomes a very important agenda for us to try and address. Great. Okay, so yeah, so let me say that on the theme of job creation, I would like to say that scaling up of MSMEs, startups, and corporates depends a lot on creating what is called a vibrant ecosystem. And in this vibrant ecosystem, there are incubators, accelerators, investors, government, of course, both central and state, financial institutions, and corporates. And we've just seen from the poll that a lot of concerns are coming up on access to finance in various forms. So what I would like to do is straight away introduce the panelists to you so that we know who are the people here who are going to be talking to you today. So the first panelist is Mr. Sanjeev Chawla. He is a director in the Office of the Development Commissioner, Ministry of MSME at New Delhi. He has 27 years of experience in MSME development across the country. He's an engineer and an MBA from IMT Ghaziabad. So that's Mr. Sanjeev Chawla. Then we have Dr. Alok Mishra. Dr. Alok Mishra is the CEO and director at MFin, which is a microfinance institutions network. He's an international development professional with 28 years experience in policy, design, evaluation, and implementation across 22 countries. He's a PhD in development studies from New Zealand. He also teaches at MDI Gurgaon. The next panelist is Dr. Abhijit Sathe. Dr. Abhijit Sathe heads the IIT Kanpur Incubator for Technology and Social Entrepreneurship. He's a PhD in mechanical engineering from Purdue University, USA, and holds 3 patents in his name. And finally, we have Mr. P.P. Chowdhury. He's an assistant general manager at SIDBI, New Delhi. SIDBI, as we know, is the nodal financial institution to address both financial and development gaps in the MSME ecosystem. So what we will be doing is that this panel will go through multiple rounds. We are planning on 3 rounds. In the first round, I will be asking each panelist a question, and the panelist will respond, and then we will move on from panelist to panelist and then to subsequent rounds. So let me pose the first question to Mr. Alok Mishra. Dr. Alok Mishra, how do organizations like MFin facilitate inclusive prosperity at the grassroots? And can you give us some examples of some success stories, especially in rural areas? Over to you, Dr. Alok Mishra.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Am I audible? Okay. Good afternoon.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chandas. See, as you have, I would just briefly describe to you what MFin is, and that will clarify much of the context in the process. So we are an industry association and a self-regulatory organization of all the entities which are active in financial inclusion or microfinance space. And that includes non-banking finance, MFIs, NBFC MFIs, banks, full mainstream banks, as well as small finance banks. And So, and we have a membership base of 111 members we have got, including banks, NBFCs and all that. And being focused on microfinance, our core, you can say core area of work, of all, not of MFIN directly, but of our members, for which we support through policy advocacy and various other initiatives, is to boost, I would not say even MSME, but even lower than MSME, the tiny part of the enterprises. The typical, in the poll you said about access to finance as the major bottleneck came out, and access to finance is the bottleneck, I would say, for across countries wherever I've worked. For small enterprises, access to finance is the major bottleneck. So all our lending is for removing the barriers to access to finance at the tiny enterprise level. And typical loan size in our category would be from 50,000 to say 1 lakh or 1,25,000. That's the regulatory limit for microfinance in India, that you cannot lend to a person more than 1,25,000. In case he or she wants to avail higher size loan, then you have to get into individual loans and gradually through that. So typically today, as we speak, all our members have provided current credit outstanding. All these are microfinance enterprise loans up to 6 crore women borrowers in India. And just, I will repeat the number, 6 crore. So if I take a household size of 4 to 5 members in one particular client's household, it is roughly covering 30 crore population, impacting. Our membership base is impacting, you can say, almost 25% of Indian population with 6 crore, and the loan outstanding as we speak is 2,20,000 crores. So this is the contribution, and often it goes unnoticed. And just to give you, we realize that access to finance, as you go down the scale, it becomes harder. In India, it is harder for everybody, but if you start from the value chain of corporates and you go down to the tiny enterprise, a person who is selling maybe a tea stall on the road or a vegetable vending shop, for him or her to get finance, which is, and they want two things. One is they want amounts which are small. Second, which are conveniently given within a particular time frame, and which are doorstep delivery. He or she doesn't have time for 2-3 days to circle around a bank and fill all the paperwork and get a loan of 30,000 or 50,000 rupees. It has to be doorstep. It has to be bite-sized. So if you have a bite-sized transaction of loan, you need to keep your operational cost low, because with the banking structure, you go and give doorstep delivery of such a small size loan, your operational cost will be so high, you will not be able to deliver. So what we are trying to do is give doorstep delivery, keep operational cost low, and make it flexible. If she wants for 6 months, it's fine. If she wants for 1 year, it's fine. If she wants to repay weekly, it's fine. If she wants to repay fortnightly or monthly, that's fine. So through that, we are making an access to finance. So, and I would say that we all, when we talk about MSME, when Prime Minister Modi came to power in 2014, he launched the Mudra scheme. So in Mudra, the smallest category of loans size is Sisu loans, which are loans below 50,000 rupees. And if you see the statistics given by government for last 6 years, that the major contributor to those Mudra Sisu loans are our members, which are basically microfinance institutions. So that is on the contribution side of it. So our entire work is on making access to finance simple, easy, convenient, and flexible for the tiny and micro piece of the enterprises. Now, the second part of it, you talked about success stories. Now, if I have to give you success, if I have to give you success stories, I do not know how to pitch in a success stories, because there are millions of success stories. Because right now I'm speaking from yesterday. I came to Puri, and today in the morning I had gone to a nearby place near Konark Temple, and I visited a small group of women who do this coral bead string making. And they said that earlier they were borrowing money for their raw material needs at, say, 45%, 55%. And the experience of taking that money was also a little bit humiliating. If they would go to a money lender, he would say, again, you have come, Again, you want money. This time, make sure that you pay on time and all that. Now, since microfinance access, they say the loan is given to me at home. The process is within 5 minutes, and the rate of interest is reasonable. The person comes to my doorstep to collect it, and we have now. She said that earlier they used to sell it to the middlemen who used to sell it near shops near Konark Temple. Now, what she has done is she has rented a small shop where the rent is 2,000 rupees a month, and she sells it around. So from a labor who was skilled labor, the women have become entrepreneurs in that. And such stories, why I said it is difficult for me to say that whenever I go to the field, I see so many stories that we have millions of such stories to share. So this is the power, because if access to finance is made available at their own terms, the borrowers expand their livelihood, move up the value chain, and feel confident in their financial journey. So this is the contribution of microfinance towards micro and tiny part of the enterprise segment. I will stop here. I can take further questions.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Mishra. That has been very enlightening. And I think, so we are really starting with the micro and the tiny sector, and there are amazing stories on the ground as to how this has, impacted people and helped them get out of the clutches of money lenders and go into a more, helpful kind of source of finance. I will now invite Mr. Sanjeev Chawla. Mr. Chawla, as Director MSME, can you tell us how your 18 technology centers around the country help small businesses? And can you also give us some examples of the field extension work that your organization is doing?
Thank you, Mr. Das. Thank you for this opportunity. I'll start with a small presentation.
Sure.
And today's topic is on scaling up of MSMEs. So the first issue जो हमें समझने की जरूरत है कि what is the meaning of scale up? Scale up is faster growth, means exponential growth. अगर मैं अपने टर्नओवर को 2 गुना, 4 गुना, 6 गुना कर सकता हूँ, तो वो उसको हम लोग स्केल अप बोलते हैं. और स्केल अप की जरूरत क्या है? Why we need to scale up? Is just to earn money or maybe to serve more masses or to bring inclusive growth, ताकि हम सब लोगों की सेवा कर पाएं. In US, the scale up is only just 3%, and in India maybe it's less than 1%. तो स्केल अप करना, अपने यूनिट को बढ़ाना, अपने एमएसएमई को बड़ा करना, ये एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है. और इस चैलेंज को हम लोग कैसे हैंडल करें, दैट इज अ वेरी बिग इशू. तो सबसे पहले तो हम लोग ये देखना चाहिए हमें कि हमारा करंट बिजनेस प्लान क्या है, हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं और क्या कर सकते हैं. इसमें अगर हम बात करें कि विजन क्या है हमारा, हम लोग क्या मार्केट सिर्फ लोकल मार्केट को ही अपनी मार्केट मानते हैं, या we consider regional market as our markets or national markets our markets, or like China we consider the whole world as our market. So हम लोग अपने आप को कहाँ तक सीमित रखना चाहते हैं, what are our mistakes, what we have committed, and then we have to do our SWOT analysis. तो जो possibility of scaling up है, वो हमें किन किन चीजों पर ध्यान रखना चाहिए. सबसे पहले तो हमारा प्रोडक्ट क्या है. During COVID, we have known that the requirement of market has changed drastically. Manufacturing में dip आया है, service sector में बढ़ावा आया है, internet based product बढ़े हैं, internet based markets बढ़ी हैं. Manufacturing sector में आज की डेट में लोग जो cooked food है वो कम खाना चाहते हैं, homemade food की requirement बढ़ी है, लोग अपनी health के ऊपर conscious हो गए हैं. तो what are the products? तो एक अगर आप स्केल अप करना चाहते हैं तो you need to have a feeling of your markets. मार्केट में क्या बिक रहा है, you have to be observant. एक स्केलिंग अप के लिए आपको मार्केट की कंटिन्यूअस रिसर्च करना बहुत जरूरी है. मार्केट्स बहुत डायनेमिक हैं. Then what is your personality? Are you a good leader? क्या आप लोगों को इंस्पायर कर सकते हैं? कैसे इंस्पायर करते हैं आप लोगों को? और आपने क्या सिस्टम्स डेवलप किए हैं? क्योंकि सिस्टम्स आपको डेवलप करने पड़ेंगे। आप एक लिमिट तक ही बाहर उठा सकते हैं, आप एक लिमिट तक ही काम बढ़ा सकते हैं। इफ यू वांट टू डेवलप, यू हैव टू डेलीगेट, यू हैव टू लर्न द art of delegating to others, and you have to find out suitable person to whom you should delegate. You have to build a team. आपको दूसरों से काम करवाना आना चाहिए और तभी आप ग्रो कर सकते हैं। You can develop some systems like ISO 9000, enterprise resource planning कर सकते हैं, आप अपने यहाँ ERP लगा सकते हैं, और strategically आपको सब आउटसोर्स करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि बिना आउटसोर्स किए आप सब कुछ तो घर में नहीं बना सकते। We have to learn from big companies like Reliance never they always delegated the authorities. उन्होंने अपनी जर्नी में सब लोगों को मौका दिया, सबकी वेल्थ क्रिएशन में उन्होंने पार्टिसिपेट किया, सबको एक विश्वास किया और एक टीम बना करके चले। Then you need to read out your balance sheet also. That is a big problem in MSMEs, that they do not know what is their balance sheet. उनके पास हाई कॉस्ट वाले लोन्स कितने हैं, लो कॉस्ट वाले लोन्स कितने हैं, क्या उन्होंने डेप्रिसिएशन को अकाउंट फॉर कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे, और फ्यूचर ग्रोथ के लिए उन्होंने क्या तय कर रखा है। दे नीड टू रीड आउट देयर बैलेंस शीट। मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल बताना चाहूंगा जामनगर गुजरात का। देयर वाज अ इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट, स्मॉल इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट, जो शाम को बैठ करके अपनी एक कैलकुलेशन कर रहा था। ये जस्ट आस्क्ड कि क्या कर रहे हो। ही टोल्ड दैट आई मेक माय बैलेंस शीट डेली। This I come to know in the evening कि मैंने आज कितने का माल बेचा, कितने का रॉ मटेरियल खरीदा, कितनी बिजली खर्च हुई, कितना मैंने लेबर को दिया, एंड इन द इवनिंग आई मस्ट नो कि मैंने आज 10,000 रुपये कमाया या 5,000 रुपये कमाया या नुकसान किया। तो आई मेक माई बैलेंस शीट डेली। बट आई हैव नोन सम पीपल जो हु आर नॉट नोइंग व्हाट इज देयर रेवेन्यू स्ट्रीम, और उनका असेट बेस क्या है, वो कैसे ग्रो करेंगे। सो दैट इज ए बिग प्रॉब्लम in most of the companies. Then what are the steps we should take for becoming a scale up company? Do we have the right people for the right job? सबसे जो मुश्किल काम है वो है अपने सही काम के लिए सही आदमी को ढूंढना। MSME में हम सब कुछ अपने आप करना चाहते हैं। That is not a good strategy. We need to have a team and we need to train them. MSME में अक्सर ये शिकायत रहती है कि हम लोग उनको ट्रेन करते हैं और लोग छोड़ के चले जाते हैं। That is a problem. But even then we have to train them and try to retain them. Then there is a need to find out new markets. As I told you, we need to be observant. We need to analyze the markets. आज कल को आने वाले टाइम में क्या आने वाला है। You would be reading in newspapers कि टॉय के इंपोर्ट पर 60% टैक्स लगा दिया गया है। तो अभी आने वाले 1-2 साल में टॉय मैन्युफैक्चरिंग विल बी ए वेरी lucrative kind of business. But along with there are some quality control orders imposed on toy sector. तो उसके क्या challenges हैं वो हमें समझना पड़ेगा। हम लोग नए नए प्रोडक्ट्स मार्केट्स में आते रहते हैं, उनको समझना पड़ेगा। आज सब कुछ इंटरनेट बेस्ड हो रहा है, तो कैन वी एंटर ई-कॉमर्स? But if we are a small company, we cannot start our e-commerce directly. Then should we use social media? क्या हम लोग Facebook पे जाकर के अपने सामान को बेचें? I know some companies even in Kanpur who manufacturing small, puja thali, rakhdi and all that, and they have listed their products on 17, this e-commerce sites. तो आपको अरेंजमेंट करना पड़ेगा इन ई-कॉमर्स साइट्स के साथ। देन सोशल मीडिया का यूज करना पड़ेगा। देन वी हैव टू फोकस ऑन कस्टमर। वी हैव टू बिल्ड ए कस्टमर बेस एंड द रिस्पेक्ट द कस्टमर। कस्टमर की फीडबैक को समझें। एंड देन द इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग इज वी शुड कीप सम मनी फॉर इन्वेस्टिंग इन टेक्नोलॉजी। दिस इज अ बिग प्रॉब्लम। वी जस्ट कीप ऑन डूइंग विद ओल्ड एंड ऑब्सोलीट मशीन्स. So we must invest some part of our revenue in the technology. That is very much required. Then we need to find the money. If we want to upscale, we will need money. So self-financing is very limited. Partnerships is another way of getting money. But then again, a painful journey, which is loans. Unsecured loan जो हम साहूकार से लेते हैं, that is also very costly and painful. बट बैंक्स इतनी इजिली हमको लोन्स देते नहीं है। and banks are quite hesitant in giving small loans because they have to do almost similar processing. अगर वो 1000 छोटे लोन को प्रोसेस करेंगे और एक बड़ा लोन प्रोसेस करेंगे, they meet their targets by processing a single big loan. So the banks need to be convinced that our projects are viable, and a lot of things depend upon our project. So MSMEs की काफी प्रॉब्लम क्या रहती है कि उनकी जो प्रोजेक्ट की वो एप्लीकेशन सबमिट करते हैं, दैट एप्लीकेशन इज नॉट कंप्लीट, या उसमें रेलिवेंट डाटा नहीं होता, उनको कोई सिखाता नहीं कि एप्लीकेशन को कैसे भरना है, वो बैंक के 4 चक्कर लगाते हैं और थक जाते हैं, जैसे डॉक्टर आलोक कह रहे थे. तो वी to teach we need to guide the MSMEs as how to fill up the application forms for the bank. इसमें जो सिडबी ने एक लॉन्च किया हुआ है वेबसाइट, उस पर हमें अप्लाई करने की जरूरत है ताकि हमारी एप्लीकेशन जो है ऑनलाइन सबमिट हो सके. Generally banks do not give acknowledgement for the loan application, so then they become at liberty to refuse you the loans. But if it is registered in their system, they will have to find out some reason to refuse the loans. And then another issue, when the companies become bigger, they can raise equity. Equity is, you don't have committed payouts on equity. So we have, our panel head who will be giving more information on such kind of things. And another issue.
Thank you, Mr. Chawla. I think we will come back to you on a follow-up question. I would now like to move on to Dr. Abhijit Sathe. He runs probably the best incubator in Uttar Pradesh, which is the IIT Kanpur incubator. And I would like him to share as to how does this incubator help entrepreneurs, especially social entrepreneurs, and what are the various schemes that are on offer. Over to you, Abhijit.
Thank you, Chand, and a very good afternoon to all of you. And thanks again for having me on this panel to, represent IIT Kanpur Incubation Center. As Chand mentioned, I am, part of the incubation center here at IIT Kanpur, and we are probably the largest of, this kind of ecosystems in Uttar Pradesh and this surrounding areas. I was actually very happy to see the results of the poll, and that showed, a majority of the participants are students, and going back to Chand's comment, at the opening remarks on, the employability and the number of new, youth coming in the task force every year in lakhs of, numbers, and, all of them can't possibly, expect to get a job, and, so it's very, very important for our country to develop a very powerful and thriving ecosystem of startups. And this is what we are trying to do here at the Incubation Center in IIT Kanpur. Our center caters to all, all type of entrepreneurs, be it early stage entrepreneurs who have just finished their education and who would like to explore entrepreneurship as a part of as their career choice, or somebody who has already established his startup and who is looking to either start a prototyping project or even at a later stage get a seed funding. So all these kind of entrepreneurs are welcome at IIT Kanpur Incubation Center. We have been operating since year 2003. Till date, we have supported more than 175 entrepreneurs across all spectrum of sectors, including education tech, agri tech, healthcare, livelihood, and several others. AIML is one of the recently very hot topics, IoT, deep learning, and so on. And at the same time, our focus is also on how we can work with the youth in Uttar Pradesh, in rural areas particularly, and try to scale up their products, try to scale up their technologies. Uttar Pradesh is running several schemes recently, including one of these schemes called ODOP, the one district, one product. And we would like to support that scheme as well, but incubate entrepreneurs from every district and support them with different aspects like technology, hand holding, and access to funding, access to mentoring. I have just a couple of slides of presentation on what schemes we have. So we are here to support, as I said, different entrepreneurs and students, especially who are, and in the final year of their education, in graduation or post graduation, and who are looking at starting their own company, launching a startup, who want to explore their ideas further. We have a very good news for you. We have different schemes, and I would divide these schemes in three different verticals. One is for recently graduated students. We have what's called a innovation fellowship award, where you get up to 30,000 rupees per month as a personal stipend kind of thing for taking care of your own personal expense, and just for focusing on your startup idea. Up to one year you can take this fellowship and not worry about your everyday livelihood, and that will give you a lot of relief in terms of managing your personal finances. Then we also have several schemes on providing prototyping grants. A majority of these come from the government programs like DST or BIRAC or other MSME programs, where individuals or startup companies can receive some grant from, let's say, 5 lakh rupees all the way to 50 lakh rupees for basically developing their prototype, developing their minimum viable product, launching in the market, and testing what is the customer feedback, which is very critical before you can feel confident that your product will succeed. And finally, for mature entrepreneurs who have gone through these initial cycle of product development, we provide scale-up funding in form of soft loans or even equity funding. We have run several programs where we have supported social entrepreneurs operating in this part of the country, be in the sector of agri-tech or in the sector of livelihood, and we have provided them equity funding and some soft loans to scale up to as a working capital loan and for any other requirement that they might have. So again, this is one other chart which shows what different funding schemes we have here. Like I said, they can be categorized into different stages: ideation, prototyping stage, seed stage, and scale-up funding. As you can see, we have several funding avenues for all of the entrepreneurs, be it like recently graduated students or a mature startup company. So to all the students who are participating in this panel discussion, my appeal to you is that if you are serious about considering your own startup company, rest assured that there are several schemes in this country right now, और इससे आपको बहुत फायदा हो सकता है to चालू करने में आपकी जो startup हैं, and anything you need from technical support to legal support to how to run your finances, all the support in mentoring, in technology, in funding, access to alumni. IIT कानपुर का alumni network बहुत strong है, बहुत powerful है, and there are several alumni who are very, very happy to support startup companies and mentor them in every way possible. So Chan, these are the schemes which we run, and I'll be very happy to take on more questions on this.
Sure. Thank you very much, Abhijit. So it's a big shout out to people in the audience who are interested in becoming entrepreneurs. Getting incubated in a high quality incubator is a very, very advisable step in your journey as you scale your startup or your business. My final panelist today is Mr. P.P. Chowdhury. Mr. P.P. Chowdhury comes from SIDBI, and as I said, SIDBI is really the nodal financial institution, and they have a variety of programs that support this whole move towards scaling up of MSMEs and corporates and startups. So I will leave it to Mr. Chowdhury to take us through the various products and schemes that SIDBI has to support this whole movement. You're on mute, Mr. Chowdhury. Unmute yourself. Yeah, please.
Am I audible? Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible. Yes, you're
Yes,
audible now.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. As you all know, SIDBI is the principal financial institution for promotion, financing, and development micro and small enterprises, micro, small, and medium enterprises. SIDBI has, associated with so many entities, starting from Stand Up India, Startup India, CGTMSA, Mitra. Now it is PM Swanidhi Yojana. SIDBI is associated with almost every entities who are directly or indirectly associated with MSME. But all these activities are indirect assistance to MSMEs to fill the pulse of the market. SIDBI has also entered into the field of direct finance the last 10 years, and basically generally finance greenfield projects where the promoter has to start from the customer has nothing. It's a greenfield only. We finance land, building, plant and machinery, everything. We participate with the customers, and from scratch to its operation stage, we fund the project. Generally, where bank do not finance greenfield projects because they are fearing the project will finally fail or successful. It depends upon the promoter. Generally, bank do not enter. Banks come when the entity is successful. They come to SIDBI for takeover of that loan. So after learning for 10 to 15 years, we have derived, after working in various customers, we have designed around 10 to 15 products. But in this topic, I will restrict to only these 5 products. So can you, sir, I have sent my presentation to Ms. Harsh Khanna ji, please. Yes, sir. Please go to next slide, sir. Please. Yes, sir. Next, sir. Next. After considering all such aspects, like somebody has said, key application is very, very difficult to fill up. Our appraisal take around 1 to 2 months. So considering all such aspects, we have designed few products where application pages consist of only 2 pages. Appraisal takes only 3 to 4 pages. We are able to disburse the loan, not sanction, within 1 week after submission of the applications through these products. So the first product is, next slide, sir. Next slide, next. The first product is speed. One of the most important factor is, since SIDBI has very thin margins in all over India, we are operating only 70 to 80 branches. It is very difficult us to come across all the MSME customers. So one of the best way to link with customers is machinery suppliers. SIDBI has tied up almost in the last 1 year. SIDBI has tied up with around 40 original equipment suppliers and entered into an MOU with them at head office level. When they say any machines, when they sell any machines to any customers, they just give us a list. All over India, we are planning to sell this much machineries in the next 6 months. So we have at head office level, this list were distributed throughout India, and we contact all the customers, okay, and approach them for financing. And one of the major stumbling block in approaching funding is collaterals. So we have also addressed the issue here. Here we are financing 100% of the machine cost by keeping 25 to 20% of FDs. That's all. No collateral, nothing. And rest of the part will be covered under CGTMS. So next slide, please. Yes, sir. The product is speed, where the amount is up to 1 crore under speed, and under speed plus it is up to 3 crore. Here is, suppose machine value is around 1 crore, yet 50 lakhs. Then the customer has to deposit around 15 to 20% FD with SIDBI, and we will finance the entire 1 crore loan with attractive rate of interest around 7 to 8%. So this product as a very hit product, super hit product in SIDBI in the last 1 year. And as far as I know, we have sanctioned around 700 crore in the speed product, only machinery finance to various MSMEs. And the customers are really happy because they don't have to go for additional collateral like house, land, building, everything. Just the deposit 20% FD, we do finance entire loan to the customer. So next slide, sir. Now this scheme comes when the customer says, sir, you have tied up with 40 machinery suppliers, but we have also, very long, old relationships with other machinery suppliers with whom you have not entered into any arrangement. So kindly devise a product for that. So considering their request, we have designed another product where we have not entered into the arrangement under OEM arrangement, under MOU, but since the machinery suppliers are reputed, then just we have increased that FD amount for around 30 to 35%. With same procedure, we'll finance 100% of the machine value, just keeping 30% FDR, no security, nothing. So here we can go up to 3 crore with rate of interest around 7 to 8%. Next session. Now this is the just various aspects. These are the 39 MOUs with whom SIDBI has tried. Now, the second aspect is, one of the aspect is MSME should reduce their cost. And one of the component of expenditure is, that is power bill, electricity bill. So here also we have come out with a scheme called STAR. That is, we are financing solar panel under this scheme. Generally, solar panel, once it is installed, it has no value. So banks generally avoid such financing. But as a Apex organization from MSMEs, we have designed a product, same aspects. We are financing solar panels with some keeping some FDs like 20-25%, and project eligible is around 25 kilowatt to 5 kilowatt. And for captive consumption, where factories are there, they want to install the solar panel at their rooftops. So this is the scheme under which to finance them. And this is also a good product, because with this, as far as our calculation goes, within 3 to 4 years, their entire loan is break even, and they are able to pay their installment from the electricity bill. Whatever reduction is in power bill is there, they are able to from that reduction in the power bill also. The next scheme is retail loan scheme. Generally, SIDBI do not finance such say retail lending like any departmental store or something like that. We do not finance. It's a new scheme for us. We have started with just we have to finance only stockists, to super stockists and distributors. This is a new product where we have very less experience. But still, then those who have any arrangement with stocks, stockists and super stockists, we can finance that product under CGTMS without only security. So these are the 5 products. These are the 5 products. Yeah. Besides that, another 5 products are also there, but time is not sufficient to.
Yes. So, Mr. Chaudhary, I think this is fabulous. Yeah, go ahead. I think it is really fantastic that probably there isn't enough awareness that there are so many schemes in SIDBI, and I'm sure your website has all the information. Yes, so I would definitely encourage the audience, which is, whether it's existing startups or MSMEs or corporates, to see what is on offer, because the interest rates clearly are very attractive and the quantums are also seem very attractive. So this is a very good value addition, I think. So at the end of the first round that we have seen in this panel, we have seen that, we've talked about microfinance and small institutions with small loans. We've talked about how a development commissioner's office can help in, project reports and project financing. We've learned a little bit about what an incubator does and what are the various schemes available for entrepreneurs and for students who want to become entrepreneurs. And we've also learned from SIGBI that there are a whole lot of schemes that are available depending on the stage of your business. So this is really fantastic because this addresses the need for finance at different levels in the pyramid. Now what we will do is we will quickly move on to the second round, which will be a shorter round because I'm mindful that we have to wrap up in about 25-30 minutes from now. So in the second round, I will ask the panelists to talk us about some specifics. So back to you, Dr. Alok Mishra. I wanted you to tell the audience as to a little more about the Atmanirbhar Street Vendor Program. This is very intriguing, and I think we are really reaching out to the bottom of the pyramid by addressing a program like this. So over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Das. So you want me to speak about the Atmanirbhar PM Swanidhi scheme, basically, Pradhan Mantri Swanidhi scheme. Huh? Okay. See, first, before I get into the scheme specifics and my views on it, let me also say that whenever at any point in India, it's like in India in banking sector, access to finance to whether it is MSME or rural finance or agri-finance has always remained on top of the development policy since 1969, since the bank nationalization started. And at any point of time, if you slice from 70s, which is the phase of social banking, you will get a host of schemes, whether it is different variants, from IRDP to Swarna Jayanti Swarojgar Yojana to this scheme to that scheme. And even now we have hundreds of schemes. But the moot factor, there are two things which are a little ideological because we may not have time to delve into it. But I must tell you those two things. One is that we have never, as a country, we have never lacked about schemes. We have many schemes, always. We have a fascination for schemes. You can have this scheme, Saral scheme, so that's fine. But the fact is that 70 years after this and 50 years after bank nationalization and so many schemes, 90% of MSMEs are self-financed. The financing gap stands at $2.3 trillion. So this is the sole fact of it. And second, I also have an objection to the discourse which is being put while promoting entrepreneurship, that everybody, a person who does not have security of 2 square meals a day or 3 months down the way in his life or her life, she is being forced to become an entrepreneur. That you become an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurship comes with risk. There can be financial losses, the market can work against you, and so on and so forth. Me and you speaking here want a fat salary, a comfortable job, but we want the poor and the middle class to become entrepreneurs. So that ideological bogey, which is in development discourse, we call it neoliberalism, that while we will be sitting comfortable and making schemes for the poor, we want a salaried job with bonus and performance incentive. The poor who doesn't have 2 square meals a day properly, so take a risk and become an entrepreneur. I think that's another bogey we needs to be considered. The way forward for India, MSMEs will be an inclusive part of it, but will have to be massive, bigger industries where people will want wage-based jobs. That is the way other countries have done it. You cannot have 100 crore entrepreneurs running the country and you having a jobless growth. So I will not get into, if time permits, I can elaborate more on that. Now, because these are moot points, we can keep discussing schemes. Then I cannot hear you, sir. You said something, I can't hear you.
I'm just saying, please go ahead. We want to learn about this grassroots scheme. I know you have a slight disagreement about, more and more schemes. But the thing is about, we have to make them work on the ground. And I think that's what, yeah.
No, but my fundamental point is you can't make 100 crore as entrepreneurs. That's not the way the development has worked in any part in the world. Anyway.
That's another debate. Okay.
Anyway, yes. Yeah. And now, when you talk about PM Swanidhi scheme, the scheme promises street vendors a collateral-free loan of 10,000 or 15,000 rupees. And I'm part of the steering committee set up by the Government of India, where they expect microfinance institutions to be active partners in that. So it's a good scheme, and they are already part of the microfinance clientele. But the problem is twofold. One, in that scheme, why the disbursements are not picking up fast, is that the scheme requires the street vendors to be registered in some, there is some portal in every towns and municipality. You have to be registered as a street seller. There is a registration number, and 90% of the street vendors you go, they are not registered like that. So the government expects also that the financial institutions should help them get registered. I think that's taking the banking system too far. That will be difficult, because you cannot load everything on the bank, registration and then financing. The second part is the KYC piece of it, because the street vendor, while they have an allocated space in the registration process, they are free to move around. I sell a pani puri. Normally I stand here, but I am free to move to another gully or move to another locality depending upon my business volume. And it is difficult for a financial institution to go for, in that case, for recovery of loans, that where to locate that person in case the installment is due. So that is another problem. They don't have a fixed place of business. And the third problem relates to that is that after the privacy bill judgment in Supreme Court of India, the eKYC, the Aadhaar-based eKYC, which could identify a borrower and its credit record, past credit record, that is not allowed for NBFCs and banks. NBFCs and MFIs. So that is acting as a problem. But other than that, you will be pleased to know that microfinance institutions, as we speak, have already financed more than 1 lakh street vendors across India under PM Swanidhi scheme. And
fantastic.
In the scheme, and in the scheme, the government also gives you guarantee up to certain amount. In case of default, up to 25%, the government will pay up something like that. So good scheme, but certain operational tweaks will be needed to make it work.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that, Dr. Mishra. I would now like to move on to Sanjeev Chawla. चावला जी, आप हमें बताएं कि आपके ग्राउंड लेवल पे क्या क्या आप सक्सेस स्टोरीज मानते हैं. कुछ आप हमें उदाहरण दीजिए about some of your field extension services, and what is it that you've been able to create? What impact have you been able to create on the ground?
I am part of Ministry of MSME, and again, like Dr. Alok Mishra, I will mention that, hundreds and thousands of people who have taken the schemes, but I will mention a few of them.
Right.
There is a scheme called Prime Minister Employment Guarantee Program, in which, ministry gives margin money support, and the banks are giving them loans. So last year, if we talk 19-20, the ministry, the loans sanctioned by banks are 65,360. So these are the figures. This is for new enterprise creation. और जो नया आदमी है PMAGP में लोन के लिए अप्लाई कर सकता है, लोन ले सकता है. इसमें 25 लाख रुपए तक का लोन रहता है, और सब्सिडी जो है वो 15% से 35% तक रहती है. Though keeping the size of the country, the numbers are very less, but this is one of the schemes. So इसी तरह से अगर हम लोग अपनी स्फूर्ति स्कीम की बात करें तो यहीं कानपुर के पास कन्नौज में एक अगरबत्ती क्लस्टर है. इसमें हम लोग 1 करोड़ रुपए तक की हेल्प करते हैं, और लोग जो है इसमें एक कॉमन फैसिलिटी सेंटर लगा सकते हैं, CFC लगा सकते हैं. जो मशीनें वो खुद से इंस्टॉल नहीं कर सकते, ऐसी मशीनें वो CFC में लगा सकते हैं, और अपने प्रोडक्ट्स की मार्केटिंग कर सकते हैं, और अपने यूनिट्स की जो कमियां हैं उनको उसके थ्रू पूरा कर सकते हैं. देन आई एम लुकिंग आफ्टर 18 टेक्नोलॉजी सेंटर्स जो कि भारतवर्ष में हैं, और इनका काम ये है कि ये एडवांस्ड स्किल्ड डेवलपमेंट में काम करते हैं। कैड कैम से लेकर के टूलिंग बनाना, मोल्ड्स बनाना, और जो इंडस्ट्री 4.0 के बारे में मिस्टर डॉक्टर साठे बता रहे थे, उसके आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के कुछ प्रोग्राम्स कंडक्ट करना। तो प्लस ये बेसिक जो प्रोग्राम्स हैं, जैसे FFDC कन्नौज में ही है, ये अगरबत्ती बनाना, धूप बनाना, डिफरेंट तरह के तुलसी के ऑयल निकालना, गुलाब की पत्तियों से कैसे हम लोग गुलाब जल बना सकते हैं, इन ऑयल्स की टेस्टिंग करना, इस तरह के सब काम जो है वो कन्नौज सेंटर भी करता है। अगर आप सक्सेस की बात करें तो मैं आपको बताऊं, हमारा क्लस्टर डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम है जिसमें कि हम लोग 20 से ज्यादा इकाइयों को इकट्ठा करके उनकी प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करते हैं, और इसमें गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया 20 करोड़ तक के प्रोजेक्ट में 70% तक ग्रांट देती है, मतलब 14-15 करोड़ रुपए ग्रांट भी देती है। कानपुर में ही जो होजरी इंडस्ट्री थी 2004-05 में, वो काफी बुरी कंडीशन में थी, और जब इनको उस प्रोग्राम के तहत कुछ सपोर्ट किया गया और ये तिरुपुर में मशीनें दे करके आए, पहली बार पता लगा कि हम इस तरह की मशीनें भी, मॉडर्न मशीनें भी हम लोग यूज कर सकते हैं होजरी इंडस्ट्री के लिए। दे केम बैक एंड देन फ्रॉम देयर दे आर ऑन द ग्रोथ पाथ। तो बहुत सारे ऐसे मिनिस्ट्री के एग्जांपल्स हैं जो कि हम लोग साइट कर सकते हैं। जहां तक मैं बात करूं कि हमारे जो छोटी इकाइयां हैं, जो छोटे छोटे उद्यमी हैं, तो उनको अगर इस तरह की कुछ समस्याएं हैं तो हमारे champions.gov.in के नाम से पोर्टल है, जहां पर वो अपनी कंप्लेंट्स को दर्ज कर सकते हैं। मैं क्या बनाऊं, कैसे बनाऊं, उसकी मशीन कहाँ से मिलेगी, मुझे लोन कहाँ से मिलेगा, मुझे जो बेसिक गाइडेंस है वो हमारे ऑफिस का काम है, ऐसी बेसिक गाइडेंस देना। तो लोग हमारे जो अलग अलग ऑफिसेस हैं उनसे संपर्क कर सकते हैं। कानपुर में भी फजलगंज में ऑफिस है, इस तरह से इलाहाबाद में है, कई जगह पर हमारे ऑफिसेस हैं, तो दे कैन कॉन्टैक्ट देयर।
Okay, fantastic. I think once again, these things may not be commonly known to all members of the audience. So I'm really glad that, people on the panel are also providing, in a sense, new information and inviting members of the audience to access, these institutions whenever required. Let's move on now. Abhijit Sathe, IIT Kanpur Incubator. Can you tell us a little bit about some success stories at your incubator, especially during COVID-19?
Yeah. So, as we all know, this is very difficult time for everybody, particularly for startup community. We have seen several of our startup companies not able to sustain their growth and even barely surviving because of the lockdown and the slowdown in demand. At the same time, I'm very happy to say that IIT Kanpur, being one of the leading technology institutions in this country, we have contributed to the ongoing, efforts on countering the COVID-19 pandemic by developing several technologies. I would like to show, one or two photographs here, just as a simple example for. What we are seeing here is one ventilator that is developed by one of our incubating companies called Noka Robotics. At the start of the original lockdown, when we appealed to all the incubating companies on support for developing COVID technologies, which India was originally quite short on these, medical devices or other accessories for fighting this pandemic. At that time, our startup companies, rose to the task, and I'm very happy to say that this ventilator project was a huge success for our entire incubation center and the startup company. So we had for 70 days, we had a task force meeting every day. All of the development work was handled remotely because there was not, travel was not allowed or anything. So we met for hours on Zoom calls and other, outside the, other support, and all of, you can see some very, high profile faces here like Shrikant Shastri or Saurabh Srivastav. So it was a collaborative effort And I'm very happy to say that in 70 days, this company was able to take a completely, a paper design, design something that did not exist, all the way to a commercial launch after successfully doing test runs, clinical trials, everything, in the matter of 70 days. So it was a huge success story, not only for the incubation center, but as a country, because this is one of the early, very few ventilators that are completely designed and developed and manufactured in India. So I'm very happy to and very proud of saying that IIT Kanpur has contributed to this, to our efforts, which was, as the Prime Minister himself requested, the community to come together and fight this pandemic, and we were, quite a part of it. Additionally, one other product which I want to highlight, that was developed at IIT Kanpur by IIT Kanpur Incubating Company called eSpin Nanotech. Here you see PM Modi wearing a N95 Swassa mask. This is actually made on campus at IIT Kanpur by a company called eSpin Nanotech, and this is a 100% compliant product for all the COVID-related requirements. And again, it was a collaborative effort between IIT Kanpur and the startup company, and we are very, very happy to see exploding sales of this particular mask all over the country. I keep getting photos from my friends in as far as Bangalore and Chennai saying, okay, we see this mask developed at IIT Kanpur, and we are very happy to use it. So again, incubator has also played a role in supporting the startup company, and that's why I'm going back to my original comment on the need for incubation, and Chand also highlighted it. Incubation centers are very critical in early development of any product, any service, any startup idea of bringing into reality. And I'm again very happy to say that we rose to the to the task, both in the pre-COVID and also in the current COVID situation, and we expect to do the same in the post-COVID scenario as well.
Okay, thank you, Abhijit. Thank you for that. I will now request Mr. Chowdhury to also tell us about one of the very intriguing schemes of SIDBI, which is called the Swavalamban Mission. तो इसके बारे में आप चौधरी जी हमें बताएं कि इसमें क्या खास मिशन है और ये किसको, ये बेनिफिशियरीज इसके कौन हैं?
Sir, I'm
थोड़ा
sorry.
आपको no, you will have to just be very brief, because we are actually running out of time before we get into the final round. So can you just describe it in a few words?
So I'm sorry, sir. Because the point is that SIDBI has so many verticals.
Yes.
I have never associated with SIDBI Swavalamban. I am from day one. I am associated with direct finance to MSMEs.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay,
that's fine.
Sir.
So,
okay,
to get more information about this, perhaps they can visit your website and learn a little more.
Sir.
Yeah, yes, and I think so. What I will do now is, we've already sort of tried to understand so far as to in this entire ecosystem, we have financial institutions, microfinance institutions, we have the Development Commissioner's Office, which acts like a catalyst, and we have incubators and accelerators within the incubators. So all of these things are in a way helping to propel entrepreneurs forward into their journey and helping them to achieve success. So let's quickly now move on to what I call the wrap-up round. Yahan pe we just want, very simply, one or two ideas that each one of you can express on what can be done for greater inclusive growth and prosperity. Dr. Mishra, back to you, sir.
Thank you.
What are those one or two things that you feel can be done more or better?
Yeah. So I will go back to my earlier response and say that one thing which we needs to do, the public policy in India needs to do is integrate these schemes. Don't confuse the last mile borrower, the entrepreneur, with myriads of schemes. Combine them. Basically, they need three. Basically, combine them, synergize them, and make people aware of it. Now, for example, if you go to now, SIDBI has built an Udyami Mitra portal, then there is another portal, then there is 59minutesloans.com and all that. But the people get just simply confused. That's what's happening in digital space in India right now. You have UPI, you have BHIM, you have PhonePe. A poor borrower which needs 1 lakh or 2 lakh or 5 lakh of rupees, he or she needs a typical synergistic concrete approach, that where to go, where to get answers to all questions, and who will facilitate with a defined turnaround time. All these schemes, first collaborate, synergize it, make awareness, and have it.
Okay, I think that was a very, very good idea, and I completely agree that this is one big area that maybe an institution like Awoke India, who is spreading financial literacy and awareness, can also kind of be an integrator of all these schemes. So this is a very great idea. I'll move on very quickly. Chawla ji, आपकी तरफ से एक दो सुझाव, what would your thoughts be on what could be done?
स्टूडेंट्स जो सुन रहे हैं उनको तो मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा कि स्किल डेवलपमेंट के बिना कुछ नहीं होगा. पीपल अगर जब तक हमारा प्रोडक्ट अच्छा नहीं होगा और स्किलफुली उसको बनाएंगे नहीं, वो बाजार में बिकेगा नहीं, ना डोमेस्टिक मार्केट में ना ओवरसीज मार्केट में. तो इफ द प्रोडक्ट इज गुड, द फंड्स विल कम ऑन इट्स ऑन. अपने पैसा चल के आएगा, अपने ग्राहक चल के आएगा, अपने आप इकोसिस्टम बनेगा. चाइना को ना तो लैंग्वेज आती थी इंग्लिश, ना वो उनको इतनी अकल थी हमसे ज्यादा. They have grown because their product was cheaper, better, and they could reach a scaled up, और वो सब लोगों को supply कर सकते थे. So my only, we have to start and end with the skills. We have to upgrade our skills.
ठीक है, very good idea, very interesting thought. Abhijit, to you, what do you think that how can incubation be done better? Can it be done deeper, wider? What are your thoughts?
So Chand, I think the incubation center can really play a very big role in raising the rural and entrepreneurs to up to the standards of what we see in Bangalore and Delhi and other metropolitan cities. Often they have excellent ideas, excellent resources, but they lack in form of either savviness or access to other support schemes like a good way to market their product, or even access to capital. So if we can run like a rural entrepreneurship program to address these issues, I'm sure we'll have hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs alone in UP, as successful as, let's say, our successful companies.
Okay, that's great. Good thinking. I mean, we are talking about inclusive prosperity. So the idea of rural entrepreneurship certainly appeals to all of us and to the organizers of this conclave. So finally, Chaudhary ji, आप SIDBI की तरफ से कुछ कहना चाहेंगे, एक दो चीजें? अभी कुछ इंटीग्रेशन की बात हुई थी, डॉक्टर मिश्रा ने कहा, तो आपका क्या इसमें सुझाव है?
हाँ सर, ये तो है सर. आजकल प्लेंटी ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन आ गया हर जगह पे, तो इतने सोर्स हैं, कभी कभी लगता है कि कहाँ हम स्टार्ट करें. लेकिन मेरा मेरा जो व्यूज है MSME बोर्ड के रिगार्डिंग, फर्स्ट यू स्टडी, मतलब यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि आपको करना क्या है एक्चुअली. क्योंकि मैंने बहुत MSME कस्टमर से बात किया है, वो मुझे बोलते हैं आप बताओ मैं क्या करूं. जनरली दे आस्क, आप बताओ मैं क्या करूं. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. यू शुड बी क्लियर, आपको क्या बिजनेस करना है, आपको क्या करना है. You should be crystal clear when you go to a bank. After all, banks are dealing with public money. They are the custodian of public money. So banks generally say security होना चाहिए, आपका net worth होना चाहिए, आपका experience होना चाहिए, ये सब है. So considering all such, when a customer enters into a bank premises, so they should have clear idea कि आपको ये काम करना है तो क्यों करना है, आपने क्या मार्केट स्टडी किया है, क्या किया है, ये सक्सेसफुल होगा कि नहीं होगा, अगर होगा तो कैसे होगा, they should be able to tell, even though they don't have any security or net worth, they should tell कि हाँ ये मेरा प्लान है, ये हो सकता है, whether you assist me or not. The point is that they don't. That is my advice to all the MSME.
Okay, thank you for those closing comments. Well, on that note, I would just like to end by saying that we've had representatives from a number of institutions on this panel. There are many ideas that have come together, and some of these ideas could be compiled, and maybe an organization like Avok India can champion one or two of these ideas. I really like the idea about integrating the schemes. And I must tell you that I came across a startup which started 2 years ago. The name of the startup is called Hak Darshak. And you can understand what the name is all about. The startup basically gives information on schemes down to the grassroots at village level and helps them to apply. And their business model is they take a small commission for getting people schemes that they are entitled to but don't know about. So the point I'm trying to make is that information asymmetry is something that exists in a very big way, and there is a crying need to get that information together, and that would be of great help to students, to entrepreneurs, to MSMEs, as well as to corporates. So on that note, I would like to thank all my panelists, and I would like to thank the organizers for giving us this opportunity. I hope members of the audience will benefit and look forward to more engagement in this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Pleasure to have insightful discussions and deliberations by this panel on startup, MSME and corporates. It was really wonderful, and we have certainly at Avok India taken back a lot of inputs which to work upon. As we have the next panel, which is panel 5, there are people, but only thing is that in case I hope there, in case there's any question which we can take in the end in another couple of minutes, that can be taken, or else we will formally close this panel and move to the next, which is on role of BFSI. So can we wait for 10 seconds for any questions? Because I don't see any questions on Q&A box, but okay. So, okay, no questions here. So thanks very much, Mr. Chand Das, Dr. Anup Mishra ji, Dr. Abhijit Sathe, Mr. Sanjeev Chawla sir, and also Mr. Prakriti Pratap Chaudhary ji. आप सभी लोगों का बहुत बहुत तहे दिल से धन्यवाद. आप सभी ने जिस तरह का और जानकारियां दी, and the point here is very important, and how we can be integrating the schemes and how we can bridge the information asymmetry. That is something which we will certainly work upon, and also in terms of how these schemes, because we at Avok India are already a credit counseling institution with SIDBI, and also working in the area of Swavalamban. So we will take it forward to the next level. Also with MSMEs, we are working with the exchanges on in terms of SME exchange, how we can help them get their listing done. So all those things we will certainly be working. Thanks very much. I formally close this session with heartfelt gratitude to all of you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, sir. Sabhi ko namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Namaste.